Unfiltered Gems podcast. What's good, world? We back, and you're watching also on YouTube now. Make sure that you're subscribed there. Hell, what's popping with you, King?
Man, not much, bro. Not much. Glad to be back. Excited for another amazing show. Got some good stuff we're gonna dive into today, man. So looking forward to it.
Do we? We've had some contention,
a little bit,
with today's show. So I could only hope, as per usual, what we do with every single show, we bring you what's going on, but we bring it with understanding, with love, with empathy, hopefully with some jokes, and
a lot of jokes.
Despite, we gonna get into it because today's a great show, man. We got a live call to get down to, some great content as well. But as per usual, we got to do the check-in and make sure. I do want to do a social plug, man. I want to shout out the socials at Unfiltered Gems podcast. Make sure that you guys are following us everywhere, because all that, it really shows love. It really does, man. The more, the better our content does, the better we're doing. So we appreciate that love for you guys. Hale, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. I got a chance to get back to work. I told you last week I was fighting a cold, so back and better now. It was good. Got some work in over the weekend. Shot a football game. I shot an event for church, so it was dope, man. Had a good weekend. Chill with the family. So nice, relaxing, productive weekend overall. So yeah, man, pretty solid. What about you?
I love it. I just got off a 4-banger. Gigs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Dang.
And I'm grateful. This is no complaint by any means.
Right.
We were in the house for a long time. So it's nice just to be out. Shout out to my Saturday wedding. It was super dope. Like, half the family's from the South, so I just felt like super connected. Like, two of my sisters are from Louisiana, so I grew up like going back and forth there a little bit. So we did a whole second line, and that's like when you play like the Zydeco music, and everyone had the umbrellas and the mask. Like, it was like a whole like French Quarter like function. It was so dope for a portion of the wedding. And then I think the coolest thing that I'm really excited, I'm making like the big announcement.
Drum roll, please.
I'm just pumped, and it's been a long time coming, after 6 long months of venue hunting and getting over my ego. It has been like, it has not just been like a physical journey. This has been like an emotional journey with it. And I know, like, with your art, you know what I'm saying? With your art, it's taken them, it takes a minute sometimes, and the patience and the faith, and whoo, Lord Jesus, y'all. 11/11, for people that know angel numbers. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on angel numbers by any means, but on 11/11, November 11th, y'all, new beginnings, because we are bringing Capacity, the disco party, right here to my home in Long Beach. So it's going to be a really great experience at a really new venue that I'm excited. And some people are actually very familiar with it if you come by to see me at open mic. So it is here at the Gray in Long Beach on 11/11. And what's cool about this experience is that it's going to be 2 floors. 1 floor for dancing, New York loft style. And the bottom floor is where my skaters get to be. So I'm getting a chance to combine like both of my loves. All into one big event. So the lineup is sick. I haven't even announced the lineup yet, but I want to let everybody know the date, because we locked in with the new venue, and I'm really excited. So I just want to say
that's
that.
amazing, bro. Congrats, fam.
Thank you, fam. Like, it's like becoming real, and like by the time that people hear this podcast, like, I will have the flyer up. You know what I'm saying? Or like the save the date. So it's just I'm pumped, baby. Like, I'm just ready to do it.
That's what's up, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, man. But I'm super excited to get this show started today as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm crazy excited. So, without further ado, welcome, one and all, to Unfiltered Gems. Thanks so much, everybody that's listening. I'm Malcolm Alexander.
And I am Ryan Hale.
Because we never say our names at the beginning. We just get on down to it. I think we definitely go back and forth with like probably like bro names and like, Hale, yeah, what's good? Like, but like we never say our names. So I'm like, we should probably try doing that sometimes. First story of the day. As of recording, dude, it is Indigenous People Day. I think it's a huge, massive talking point that I just can't let us as a platform ignore or act like it's not happening. some degrees of the workforce. They're off today, right?
Mhm.
And people's, I think there's been a point of contention of like, how do people celebrate this day, right? Because it was so ingrained. Like I've seen pictures of me in elementary school with like Columbus Day projects, and everyone makes the little hat, the paper
Yeah.
with the hat, and like everyone like that kind of practice was so ingrained in us. And it's like I think like why like hell, but before I get into just why I'm actually like very hype and I'm very passionate about Indigenous Peoples Day, like what is your context of either growing up celebrating Columbus Day or your understanding of like Indigenous People Day?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I grew up celebrating Columbus Day too. I remember, learning about I'm about to butcher these boat names, but the Pint
The
the
come on.
Pinta.
Yep.
I can't think of the last one. The Santa Maria.
Yes.
I know that's the second one, but I
It,
can't think
it,
of the third one.
it was the
The
Nina.
Nina.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Thank you,
doing with the
Sarah.
gun. I'm doing the gun. People
What's
on
the gun
YouTube
got
will
to
be
do
like,
with that?
I got the burn, I got the Nina. Like I got
Okay.
the
Well,
wow. Okay,
I'm
awkward.
not from
Sorry, gun
I'm
euphemism.
not from the hood. I would have
Wow.
not known that. I'm
Like
like,
he got the Thule, he got the blower. Okay,
why is he
never
shooting at
mind.
me?
Like he's
Did Christopher Columbus have an AK-47? I didn't know about.
okay, yeah. So right, what 1492?
Yeah,
Columbus sailed the
1492. Yeah.
ocean. The Columbus sailed the ocean blue,
Ocean
right?
Blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
You're
like,
right.
and that's real. That's real cute. That like that's what we think is the history of this nation, and like
To
the
be
reason that
honest,
we're
I don't
here.
even remember the first time I realized that. Not that whole story was fake, but that like the truth behind it all. I can't remember if it was like high school or
Yeah,
early high school, or if it was around early college. I can't remember that. But ever since then, I know that Indigenous People Day hasn't been really recognized in all the states around the U.S. because I know a lot of states and a lot of schools still call it Columbus Day.
yeah.
I feel like the school I went to still call it Columbus Day while I was there. So um, I know that Biden is the first president that I heard that to actually proclaim it as Indigenous Peoples Day and to recognize it. So
Which is
hopefully,
wild. Thanks, Obama, for nothing.
oh man, you're stupid. Hopefully this will be like a trickle down effect, and people will really
Yeah,
start to understand that the meaning behind Indigenous Peoples Day, the reason behind it, and the importance of it, because it's really celebrating Native Americans and people all over the world who should get more of the accolades and the celebration than Christopher
well, and not,
Columbus.
and I think it's beyond reparations. Like really, people understand like and celebrate the full history, right?
Right. Yeah.
There was already faith here on the Americas. There was already people here on the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're celebrating our history and we're celebrating our culture, right? That doesn't start at some dude that came here and like raped, pillaged, and gave diseases to the
Right.
people that were already here, right? And another reason why I'm like very passionate about Indigenous People Day is because Indigenous People Day and Indigenous People celebration and history is Black history in this country as well. Like,
Facts.
it's such a beautiful thing. Like, it's a further reason why I say like our ode reparations starts as well with property and land, because our bloodlines, especially as like descendants of slaves here in this country, right? People that truly have been here, right? As far generational back, right? Our connection to community and our connection to land maintenance and land growth and fertility, that is bred through like Black and Indigenous bodies, right? So when
Right.
in the fight for the liberation of our people, right, I really think it's an akin fight, and we should always be giving our love, getting our eyes, giving our support to Indigenous communities. So in celebration of the day, I always like to know where you're living, right, Hale? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, do you happen to know where you live, as in context of the indigenous land that you do live on in Arizona?
I do not.
So I did just want to let you know, because I looked it up today.
Oh,
I
awesome.
had to do a reminder to myself of where I am, but I want to
Mm-hmm.
let you know that in your area of Phoenix, Arizona, you
Right.
are on the Akimel o Odom, or the Upper Pima indigenous group,
Got you.
and that
Okay.
is the land that you're on, right? And so when you
Dope.
when you want to find ways to give back to the community, when you want to find ways to give back to the land, know
Mm-hmm.
that you can do that and support that ancestral line of indigenous people. That
Got
is
you.
the land that is there. And this map also says sometimes like there could be off, like neighboring is Hohokam.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which I've
So
heard
of
of.
course, like yeah, like you'll
Yeah.
for a lot of us, we know that as like the casinos that are in the area. Like
Right.
I always knew like a lot of the powwows, things that happen in the area that I grew up in, like Inland Empire, Corona, California, because it's like we
Mhm.
had Morongo and Pachanga and like all the San
Yeah.
Manuel, and like you have all those things. You're just like, all right, cool. So you know that all these are like, you know, the Indian, you know, it was gaming in Indian casinos, right?
Yeah.
Um, Here in Long Beach and in a large part of LA, even Orange County in some parts is Tongva. And
Oh,
so
okay.
where I'm at is a celebration, even for our producers. A lot of us, we are all in Tongva regions of California. And so just to celebrate Indigenous People Day, to know that, to recognize that, you can look up, you know, more about the area that you're in. Like I said, for you, Hale, you being in like what did I say, like the Hohokam area,
Mhm.
also Akimel O'odham.
Yeah.
You can also support Tongva people out here in Long Beach, and it's a really cool way to give back and know your personal history. You
Yeah.
know, and I even think about being in Hawaii earlier this year, right? In the Indigenous people of Hawaii and how much erasure of their history there's been.
Mhm.
I think about how that even goes across for people across the Latin diaspora and certain parts of you know, Venezuela or Puerto Rico or South America or even more Central America. Like indigenous erasure is not just special to America or the
Right.
American, right? So it's a day that is an entire global movement. I think it's a day of protest to colonization and colonialism.
Mhm.
And so I just knew I wanted to mention on the pod. I want to use this platform to celebrate that and to celebrate those voices. So that's all I have on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for our next segment.
As am
Um
I. As am I.
it's been at this point of recording probably a whole week, right?
Yeah.
Since the new Dave Chappelle special, right?
Right.
I think this conversation I wanted to have today is a lot more, you know, I want to have a little bit more than just a, how do you feel about it, right? Because I think
Mhm.
right now the conversations have been all about feeling. um,
Very true.
when it comes to this, right? And so it's like we want to make sure that we're, you know, having as objective of a conversation as possible. Um, the, you know, trigger warning, there may be jokes said as we reference them in the special, just the words here. So I do just want to put that out there. And I'm really excited because we'll be bringing on a friend of mine who, because of our
A
listener
friend of mine
feedback,
too, man.
huh?
Goodness gracious. He a friend of mine too.
Oh, you
Man.
you do know, yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, I
Wow.
forget. It's been a
So
long time, bro.
selfish.
Oh man, okay, so yes, we have the Young King guy of come on in a minute. But first, yeah, we want to tee it up, yo. Dave Chappelle's The Closer premiered last week. Yes, a lot of divisive rhetoric that has had Twitter, the internet, the world, news, everybody
The
in
shade room.
the shade room. I mean, yeah, like anywhere that you go in this past week. You know what I'm saying? I remember I went got my hair cut on Friday.
They're talking about it.
It was on in the bar. No, it was just on.
Oh, it
You know
was
what I'm saying?
on in the shop. I
It's
got you.
just
Okay.
on. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, oh God. And I love like I still, I mean, the barbershop's just one of the dopest
Bro,
places to consume
I hear
culture.
some of the
The craziest, like,
conversations in the
yeah,
barbershop,
like
man.
LeBron knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, the shop.
Like with calling his, you know, his show
Yeah.
the shop. Like
Yeah.
I think you know exactly what he was
Genius.
doing. Genius. But I think we're at a place where it's like, you know, what are the questions that it really poses? You know, what is being canceled? What are consequences? Um, is the language violent? Is it not violent? Right.
Mhm.
So I want to, you know, gauge it first. Hale, where do you rank this? And
Mm.
do you think in the height of Dave Chappelle's career, this is like a masterpiece? Is this something that you enjoy?
Man, that's tough to ask where do I rank it because he's got so many
Right? Because I don't want to
points of
say how do
spectrums,
you
man.
feel, right? We'll get into the feeling of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we'll dive
You know,
deeper into
yeah.
that. He's just got so many amazing specials, bro. It's hard to really rank it. I will say out of his Netflix ones, but that might be recency bias. This is the one that really stands out to me a lot. But that could just be because it's his most recent.
Mhm.
It's tough. Like I did enjoy it a lot. I thought that the messages that he was trying to portray in there may have been misconstrued, and we'll kind of touch on those later. But I understood what he was trying to do. I think me and you talked about this off camera after we both watched it. It's just the way that he is able to kind of thread that needle
Mm-hmm.
and kind of tell stories and talk about different topics in such a a comedic way, but still try to get a point across.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was good, and I think of all of the specials that he did in the Netflix deal, this is the one with the message that he was trying to get across on this one was the most prevalent, I would say. Prevalent, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't feel like the rest of the ones that he did in the Netflix deal, he was really trying to tell a message per se. This one, his goal
So then
was to
maybe
tell
my
a
question
message.
then is what is the message?
The message that I feel like he was trying to get across, and maybe there were many messages. The message that I thought that he was trying to get across was that at points, and this isn't an attack on anybody, but the message that I felt like he was trying to get across is that we live in a society today where rappers, or we'll speak on rappers specifically because he made an example of the baby,
Mm-hmm.
right? We live in a society where a rapper can be convicted of a violent crime. It's okay if he's misogynistic. It's okay if he does all of this stuff and blah blah. He will never get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
He can get convicted for gun crime, sexual assault, all of this stuff, and we never
Mm-hmm.
want to cancel him. His career is intact. He hop out of jail, can go sell out a concert immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you say something that offends the LGBTQ community, then you're canceled, right? Or then you are put on quote unquote cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like his thing was that we live in a society where we want to cancel people too quickly, and at times not for things that are necessarily not even per se, but we need to keep it even, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like what he was trying to get it as that the media at times can cater to the LGBTQ community, like where we hear a lot about, for example, like we're hearing a lot about Dave Chappelle in this recent special
Mm-hmm.
about people trying to cancel and stuff like that, more than we're hearing about other, in my opinion, more important stories such as like a Jelani Day or stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like that,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk about a Jelani Day to most people, they're not going to know who that is. But if you talk about the recent Dave Chappelle special, everybody's talking about that because the media has portrayed it to be such a big talking point in a hot story, if you get what I'm saying. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that was his message. There were more messages in there, but I felt like that was one of the big messages that he was trying to portray,
Yeah.
is not to try to cancel people for everything. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't want to cancel. It's easy. Like we're in the cancel culture, right?
Right.
And I oftentimes question really what is cancel culture, right? Because I think in the same as Twitter, I question like the reality, right, of the space. I don't think though that it doesn't make what Dave Chappelle said any less violent. Like
So you think it was
his
okay?
brand of comedy is shock value comedy. And I love
Facts.
it. And when I say that I called him a master, I think it's like a master in like being able to command a stage and say what you do want to say, and there be reception after,
Mm.
be contention after, right? Comedians have been divisive for years. This medium of it, um, it's not new to be divisive or to be a place of contention for the cultural zeitgeist, if you will. My issue, though, that I've had to now by this time I've watched the special 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Like I've really like let it dive in. Like I made sure that as I consumed this and I wanted to have a discussion point about it on the podcast, I said like let me like really dive in. Let me not just watch it once or twice or like
Mm-hmm.
let me really and I asked for the message because I don't know. It's very easy for like black men at his stature to just be like, well, I'm here just making jokes. But then I watched this as a culmination of all four, as the
Right.
conclusion of
The
his four,
closing one.
the
Yep.
closing one of his 4 specials. And I don't know if it was just jokes because it wasn't. Like at this point, he superseded the stratosphere beyond a comedian to where he's a thought leader. People are going to him not just for a laugh; they're going to him to like agree to agree and support somebody. It's so much more than just jokes with Dave Chappelle now.
Okay.
And I
What do you
think
mean?
that the language used throughout of it, like it was super cringy. And it's like there, and I remember there might be one or two punchlines that I'm like, damn, I did laugh. It doesn't mean that I agree or think that they were good jokes. I think even a lot of the jokes, like when I sit back on it, I'm like, damn, like you might say it's punching up because he refers to the LGBTQ community in such a monolithic way. I think that's also my huge issue with it. It's like he just makes it like, yeah, there's me, there's gender, and there's that community. And I feel like it's no better than like, oh, exactly. What does the black community think? Well, the black community doesn't think one way.
Oh yeah, no,
Neither
I
does
agree.
the LGBTQAI plus community. And yes, there's a lot of letters. I know we're still getting language around that. I know it can get fucking frustrating. But all I'm gonna ask of myself and what I consume, I'm gonna have accountability for this because I don't give a fuck what Dave Chappelle does. It's gonna be what it is. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have the conversations, and that's great. I just don't like consuming like violent rhetoric like that. Like it's very harmful, and it's like his anecdotal conclusion of it to say, well, here I can make transphobic jokes. He even sarcastically refers to himself
That's
as
true.
transphobic, like throughout the special, right? And I get it that he's being sarcastic, but I'm transphobic, right? No, you were making whether or not you personally feel that he's transphobic, he used transphobic rhetoric for an hour. Like it was a 5 minute joke in the three specials leading up to it. There was a gay joke here, but then he goes for someone else, and then he goes for another group. No. This entire hour and 10 minutes was a direct addressing engagement with what he's referring to as one community, and then tries to button it up and wrap it up with like exactly. But I'm also speaking that to white members of that community at the end of the day, because you can put down your sexuality and still benefit from white privilege at the end of the day, which
Which
I
is
see,
true.
which is true. I see that
Okay.
point.
Right.
But then now there's erasure and violent rhetoric towards black trans people, black
Well,
gay people, black lesbian people, black bisexual people. Like it's
that that's sorry
it
to cut you off.
ignores it.
That's
it
what I'm missing with your point. And I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just trying to get some clarity. You're saying that his rhetoric was violent.
yeah,
Well,
dude.
explain that to me, because I'm maybe I'm just
So I think
misunderstanding.
the one punchline that everyone probably remembers, and spoiler alert for anyone that's done it, right? When he talks about getting in a fight, whether this is again a joke or a story, whatever it is, right? But you
Hmm.
choose to make it a point. He talks about getting into a fight with a trans person at a club, and then says, "I tenderize those titties like chicken cutlets." Albeit, I heard that punchline and I was like, I'm like, nigga, you built an entire joke around engaging in a physical altercation with a member of the trans community. And so regardless of it being a joke, right? Or he talks about, yeah, what invites you to want to come up to me in a restaurant and say anything to me? And I totally get that, right? Because personal space, like you're not going to just approach me at a restaurant if I'm sitting there in my personal space, my personal time. I
Right.
get that. But yeah, you've also used this rhetoric in previous specials. You warrant it. You go around, did I get canceled yet? Can I go to, like you toe the line. And so you also invite this same criticism. Like that,
This
he invites that criticism, like and that's very, 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 very plain here.
and I'm not disagreeing on the last point, or necessarily on anything specific that you said.
Yeah.
That's your point of view on it. My thing, I guess my issue with it is it's just hard for me to wrap my mind around how people, or and no specific person, but how people are trying to cancel a person, a comedian that we have paid for years to make these kind of jokes, right?
Mhm.
Let's look at Dave Chappelle's career, right? Because now you're talking about the transphobic jokes that he
Yeah.
made on the trans community in his last special. But let's go back to the Chappelle show. He made a video about R. Kelly peeing on a girl,
Yeah.
and we didn't say anything about that. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
He's made comments in his recent Netflix specials about rape, about sexual assault, about Bill Cosby, about
Sure.
different things like that. no comments on that.
Totally.
But now because he's talking about transgenders in this last special, now we want to cancel him because somebody's offended or because a group of people are offended or whatever the case may be. To me, that I just that's just hard for me to wrap my mind around.
But I also think it's beyond the case.
I'm
not making the case to cancel him though.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying people in general.
You know, but I don't know. I don't see anyone making the case to cancel. I see people just, let's call the language what it is.
You haven't seen people trying to take the Netflix special down? That's not canceling it?
No, I haven't seen that movement. I haven't seen the movement of people.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I forget what the name of the coalition.
There's plenty of other things that Netflix can take down, because Netflix also prides itself in being this organization of inclusivity and wants to support pride, but then are going to pay this man the most. So actually, like, Netflix is a hypocritical, like, money grab at the end of the day. So it's like, I can't even address Netflix in this, quite frankly. Like, I really can't. Like, it's like, and again, I don't think that you're going to cancel, because he's going to say things for shock value. He's going to say things to get people talking. He's going to get people to
done
do
his whole career, though.
His whole career.
This isn't nothing new.
But again, I want people to be very clear on what this is, what this language is, and that this language, again, we can be out here telling just better jokes. I love comedy. I genuinely, like, y'all know, I love, like, if anybody making jokes on this podcast and I want to see how much of a line I can make, it's me. It really is. But I just think that, like, they were violent jokes, and I think just at someone of his stature, you didn't want to just say jokes on that stage. You really wanted to stir the pot, and it was pretty violent. And I think, and I'm not making a case for an entire community of people, and that I'm making a case of, like, I just want to call this language what it was, because I think if he was talking directly to a black man, or saying something like to a black man this violently, I
guess that's just my thing, is because, like, he has, and I'm not taking away from what you're saying, but no, again, Dave Chappelle has talked about every group of, if we're just talking about the black community, he's talked about every group of the black community and every group around society for his whole career. It's not like he's just focused on one group. Like, he's talked about athletes, he's talked about celebrities, he's talked about black people, 100%, white people.
100%.
So that's my only thing. It's like, I don't. To me, I get what you're saying about the one joke that you mentioned, how that could be taken as a violent joke. But to me, like I said, I feel like this is the kind of jokes Dave Chappelle has made a career off of. Like you said, these kind of shock value jokes, whether they're right or not, that's for whoever watching it to decide. But again, it's not like one person has made this man just a huge, like people said, like he said in the comedy special, I'm what people refer to as the GOAT. Why is that? Because he's made a whole career off of this stuff. Am I right? Do you not think he's the GOAT, or have you ever not referred to him as the GOAT? Because I've heard him be referred to as the GOAT.
No, 100%. And like, honestly, like, he's ranked in some of my tops for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, that's just, but I think this special, I just want to call it what it was. I just thought it just didn't have a lot of taste for me. Even his past few specials, I can't look back on, I can't remember a lot of the punchlines from the past few specials. That's just me. And I don't know if people are going to remember the punchlines from this more than they're going to remember the dividing language around it. But I don't want to be the only one with opinion about this. I want to bring in more people, because I like to bring in some of the listeners. And so we have our friend. Let me not be selfish. Hale, our friend. I'm just saying, let me bring in our friend. Shout out to my brother, our brother, the one and only, Mr. God Jones. You can give the whole name and all the AKAs if you'd like to.
Right. I am. What up, boy?
Peace, God. How y'all doing, man?
How you doing?
It's good to see you, bro.
Likewise. It's been a second. Y'all done got finer and everybody looking good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you expect?
The melanin start popping, you know what I'm saying? I see you down there, everybody nice. All right. Go missing for a couple of years. Everybody want to get grown on you. All right. That's cool.
100%. 100%. Well, look, man, we're talking about, this Dave Chappelle special in context of this age of cancel culture, right? Are people being too sensitive? Or are we not being sensitive enough, right? can we just call the language what it is? Maybe that's my point here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a certain kind of rhetoric to have, and there's some that you can't have, right? Want to know your thoughts as a fan or not a fan of Dave Chappelle. I have no idea where you stand on this.
Oh man, I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle. I've been a fan of Dave Chappelle since before I could watch him at my mama's house.
Same.
Because let's be real, his shit is not for kids.
Yeah, no,
at
no.
all. And at least there's nothing he's made that I would let Judah watch until she was like 19.
Yes.
Safe bet.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle, and as far as cancel culture is concerned, it's hilariously selective. Because they laughed at the nigger jokes. Not a comment was made about the nigger jokes. As a matter of fact, his opening joke was about him getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yes.
He said that's the most niggerish thing I've done. Yeah, let me get the third best option.
Yeah,
Everybody cracked up, including them two chubbies in the front.
Yes.
The purple haired. Yeah, you saw them.
Yes.
Strong shoulders.
100%. Yes.
Cried laughing. It's okay to laugh at the niggas. It's always okay to laugh at the niggas. But when it comes to other communities, then we want to get sensitive. And I don't know how growing up on South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, SNL at the beginning, Mad TV. I don't know how in the hell we got this sensitive. Yeah. And I can't even say we, because I notice who's mad and I notice who ain't, and I'm not surprised. So
who is though? I mean, because like, what's the team
white
here,
liberals,
right? Because
white liberals are upset because his conversation about the LGBTQ community plus, because I don't know all, right? I don't know how much of the alphabet has been annexed. He is saying like, I'm not. Y'all are mentioning it. Y'all are skipping the fact that there's Black people in your community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are dozens of trans women, Black trans women, that are murdered.
Yes, an alarming rate.
Suicide
rate is through the roof.
Even suicide rate is through the roof. Murder is through the roof. Assault is through the roof. I don't hear anybody from that community. I don't hear them. I was going over this with my professor, Lojo, when I was trying to do some college stuff in Phoenix. And he said, Dave Chappelle sounds angry. And I had to go back and watch it again because he does sound angry.
Yeah.
He sounds like, have you guys ever listened to A Love Supreme? It's an amazing album by Mr. John Coltrane.
Yeah.
So I liken it to that, where you hear the genius, but you also hear the pain. You also hear the hurt, like, God dang, what do I have to do?
So maybe my thing with it, right? And I think that's where it's like, I still have kind of a soft spot for it. My place of contention is the fact that I think it's my understanding of intersectionality and where Black people exist within a very vast non-monolithic community. I think it's my issue with the LGBTQAI plus community is when people talk about, my issue with people of color. I'm like, we're in a culture where everyone's a little lazy. Everyone's a little lazy, where it's like you want to, especially like white liberals and most liberals, even just yuppie Black people can, or like Latino people we can all be guilty of virtue signaling on any platform, and right. And it's like I get really tired because I'm like, where is your integrity? Where does it really lie at the end of the day? Yeah. My thing is, I felt that the language specifically was violent, and of course he's talked about punching. Like we all know the Charlie Murphy, the Rick James, right? But like you can see what is clearly like a joke. And with this exactly, I feel like it was someone who was on stage. And it's like, I think you need to talk this out with a therapist a little bit more than you need to use your platform when you're using violent language around the trans community. And then just a mere anecdotal reference to like, I can say this because I have a trans friend. Like I have a Black friend, so I can say nigga your way through the whole like special. And when it came to one community, when I'm just like, my issue isn't like, well, what about the trans? What I know is that there's black people that exist across that entire spectrum of people.
Yes, niggas is everywhere.
Niggas is everywhere, right? And at the end of the day, I really like Kendrick. Every nigga is a star. Like I'm here with a soft spot for people with brown skin like that. Like at the end of the day,
facts.
And so I think that's where I just, regardless of whether people want to cancel him or not, I'm not putting my energy there. I'm just at this seemed incredibly irresponsible in the rhetoric around it.
What made it irresponsible though? Because was it as irresponsible as the nigger sketch on Dave Chappelle show?
On Dave Chappelle show,
or like I told him earlier, guy, or like the R. Kelly one.
Was that equally irresponsible? Because it would only, and from what I'm watching in the reviews, they're saying things he didn't say.
Oh, it's like I'm not, but I'm not diving into what people are. Yeah,
I understand you're not going into what people are saying, but I'm saying like, and this is why I love Lojo so much. He hates all kind of. He don't laugh at no jokes.
Yeah.
So he's not picking like yo.
Yeah.
The funny thing is Lojo's hilarious, but he don't laugh at no jokes.
Not a damn thing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not picking and choosing when he's gonna stand up for something or when he's gonna let something slide. You know what I'm saying? Because I mentioned it on my Facebook. He said everybody laughed at the nigga though. He said I didn't like them jokes either. I didn't like any of it. So it comes in like okay. And what I heard and what he literally said is his problem isn't with the community. It's problem with the white people in the community.
Yes.
Because anytime there's a movement, they step around black people. And I mean, they step around all black people, including the black people in that community.
Yes, 100%.
Almost
100%.
It's almost particularly against the people in that community. They're like, oh, yeah, I know you trans, but you're black. Yeah, I know you're gay, but you're black. I know you're lesbian, but you're black. I know you're part of the community, but you're black. And this right here is for us on some, you know what I'm saying, on some other stuff. And that's I feel like when I watched it, because I had to watch it because the first time you couldn't watch it because Dave Chappelle and the niggas hilarious.
Yes. Right.
And the second time, the third time you watch it because I'm trying to really pay attention to what he's saying. I'm trying to understand the argument and the obvious anger. Even this conversation that we're having is a little incomplete because it doesn't include a trans person.
I said the same thing upon starting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like a transfer, as if like one trans person can represent a community, like
the whole thing.
Which they can't.
We have 3 black men on this podcast with 3 different like perspectives and opinions, and but
we are so different.
Do we not have our own form of protest to Dave Chappelle in the community and through a lot of communities? The fact that you even just said, "Oh well, I wouldn't put it on for my kids,"
because it's not for kids. It's
I wouldn't call that necessarily, because I get what you're getting at, Malcolm. I wouldn't call it necessarily a protest, but more so because if I had children, like Guy mentioned, I don't think I would play any comedy specials for them. Like, I wouldn't play no Kevin Hart. I wouldn't play none of that because it's not for kids. So I don't think it would be terrible parenting. I don't think it's necessarily a protest per se, but I do get what you're saying.
But it is in some way. It's like, so exactly. There's a lot of stand-ups, or like even Chappelle show. We're saying there's a lot of sketches. Like the only one that I might put on for my kids would be like edited potentially would be the Rick James. The Rick James, like the Rick James or the Prince one. Yeah, like the true Hollywood story with Charlie Murphy. Yeah, like I just feel like I would have to put that on with no cursing, but I would put that on in front of kids and just be like, y'all can watch that and just laugh. You won't, right? But it's like there's already other things, and we could go into Mad TV. There's certain things, and I'm like, well, I probably wouldn't just show that the kids just because it's like, ooh, that's just it's content a little bit more for adults to watch it. That's what Malcolm can babysit. It's only one sketch, I promise. It's only one special. It's edited, it's one. But like I think in some ways, I think we all know the nuance, and I think that we all address like the tongue-in-cheekness of Chappelle. And I think sure, it's like as you said, like Lobo didn't think that the stuff was that funny. I don't, and when I go back to Chappelle, like I go back to funny moments that probably not of them are even punch downs. I mean, there's the nigger family one. I'm like, I don't go back. I have a lot of trauma with certain Chappelle sketches because I remember that was what gave license for kids that were not black in my school to use the N-word around me in a time where I wasn't ready to fight everybody.
But we can't blame him for that. I feel like comedians and some poets are really like the last group of people that can just tell the truth.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Like just
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
But the thing is that truth is not always, and I want it to not be mistaken for perspective, because those are two different things.
Right.
I feel like, and it didn't come from our community. Let's just be real. I feel like certain things are not allowed to be said because it tears at the fabric of a certain reality. The fact that slavery is taught as Black history but not white history, that's a thing, and that's done on purpose. So when you get somebody that says, Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year, he wasn't a woman, and she wasn't a Woman of the Year. She beat world leaders, Nobel Peace Prize winner. She beat the nigga in Pakistan that fought the Taliban by herself. That reeks of white male privilege. And that's not something that community is willing, or I've heard. Let me be real specific. Because I ain't talked to everybody.
I haven't talked to everybody in that community.
From what I've understood, from what I've seen, that's never been a conversation that's really willing to be had. I try never, because I can't question a nigga on how they feel inside. Can't do it. You feel like this way on the inside, I'm gonna treat you like this way on the inside, because that's what you deserve as a person. You deserve to be treated exactly how you want to be treated.
100%.
I don't try to go from that side. I try to go from math and science. What is the math and science of what we're talking about? And that's for anything. Because at that point, I think truth is allowed to be said. And the things he says, hilarious, but they sting a little bit because they have like when he said the LGBTQ community, that movement is going really well, did he lie? No, he didn't lie. I live in San Francisco. There's a whole fucking district.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I live in Long Beach.
There's a whole fucking district.
It's a pride city. I adore it.
But then when it comes, to February, it's like, well, what are we gonna do? Well, that might be too much. Why is it too much? Why is it too much to have a Marcus Garvey parade? Why is it too? Oh, but it's not too much for anything else, because 100%. That includes white males.
100%.
And that's the ish. That's the that he grabbing at, that everybody just side swiping like football player.
And I'm not side swiping that, right? Because that is the
that's truth. The real issue.
That's the real, right? I think,
and that's what I was trying to get at, Malcolm, earlier. Is that's what I think. Maybe I didn't describe it well enough. That's what I think the message is for, like Guy is talking about. That's what I think the message that he was trying to portray was. And like you mentioned, like you guys have mentioned a couple of times, like we're just three Black straight males talking about this, and we don't have all the perspectives, which is true. But if there are people who felt like that, like you alluded to, Malcolm, is violent or something like that, I would love to hear that perspective.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. Only because, like I mentioned, Dave Chappelle has made a career off of saying jokes like this. You get what I'm saying? Maybe not about this specific community or whatnot, but he's made jokes talking about every different type of group of people. So I would want to hear that conversation around it, because if it is, like you said, violent language, then let's talk about that. Let's figure out how we can have comedy that is not coming from a violent place.
Exactly. Why because we, as you mentioned, brother, three heterosexual males, I might not know why this is violent language.
Right. Yeah.
It might have never occurred to me why this is violent language. A friend of mine, she's like, I put my keys in my hand when I go outside, like some Wolverine shit. Late at night, because I'm walking in my car. As a male,
I don't ever think to do that.
6'1", 200 something pounds, dark skin dreads. I've never thought about my physical safety for more than 2 to 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why but that conversation needs to be had. So and he clearly says my problem has been with white people. That was a very clear sentence. That's my problem. You know what I'm saying? So let's address what he said, not what we felt like.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And let's add people to the conversation, because it's worth the conversation, because I want us to understand each other and love each other and live with each other in peace.
And look, and to end all of this, right? I think that's what it is, because I think that's why the representation matters. That's what I was. That's what I always go back to. It's like, to have this conversation, to even have that special. The only reason I'm going to say, there's a degree of violence and irresponsibility, just because, again, an anecdotal reference to one person, when, again, the conversation has to be had with everybody, man. And it's like, cool, let's like, I hear you on white men, right? Like we hear that, right? But like, cool, so let's make sure that we're talking to trans people in our own community. Let's make sure that we're gay people in our own community. Let's make sure that we're talking to lesbian people in our own community, and not saying, let's just talk to Black LGBTQ. No, like, go understand. You can't just don't check off. Well, I got a lesbian. I got a G. I got a B. I got a don't go there and just be like, I got a black one of each one. Like,
let's talk.
And that's where it's like we got to make sure that inclusion is important. So, Guy, thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
We got to keep this train.
We got to keep the train moving.
Amazing poet, artist. Where can people follow you before you take off, brother?
Stop it.
Oh, it's the truth. I need people to follow this man.
I mean, I talk reckless too, so be warned.
Yes, yes, you do.
So MR_IM Mr. I am. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Appreciate you, bro.
King, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
I'm joking. No gangster.
Oh man. Well, look, we're gonna take a break. More Unfiltered Gems when we get back. The new Studio 54 is here, y'all. If you love disco music, house music, funk, R&B, all of those genres are played and they go crazy at Capacity Dance Party. Hosted and curated by myself, Malcolm Alexander, every single party features one of LA's best DJs and myself spinning nothing but the best dance music around, spreading across all decades. So, to get info and tickets on the next Capacity Dance Party, head over to CapacityDanceParty.com and follow us on social media at Capacity Dance Party.
Man, bro, one of the best shows that Netflix has ever produced, or
you really think so?
Should I say? Well, I mean, going off of the stats, I'm a big analytics guy.
You can say numbers on the board.
Well, this show is going to become, supposedly, it's about to become Netflix's biggest show ever watched.
Yeah, man.
An amazing show, in my opinion. A show that everybody in my circle was talking about, and I know I got you on last week. Squid Game, man. I know that you just finished it up. So real quick, just a quick thought on the show. What did you think? Did you love it? Is it one of the best shows that you've watched recently?
I don't know if it's been like one of the best shows I've watched recently, but it was really dope. I really did enjoy it. It was quite a ride. I also just like love Korean dramas, and so that was like really, really, really dope.
Did you watch it in Korean or
I watched majority of it in Korean, and then it's like for the sake of the pod, since y'all were like, you need to watch faster. I was like, okay, because when I'm with Korean with subtitles, like you got to pay attention. I was like, because I'm gonna miss a bunch of words. Like I really can't speak Korean. I can
exactly.
I know certain things, and what I would say, I know certain things enough that like even the translation, some of the subtitles, I'm like, oh, that's not exactly like.
Oh, I like that.
There's more to what they were saying, and so like there's some of the parts I was like, oh, it was really connected, and I was like, I just love the hajimas and the harmony, or excuse me, the harmonies. I'm not hajima. Hajima's like, stop, don't do it, or something like that. Like harmony is like grandma, so like a lot of the grandma figures and the maternal figures in the show, like. I loved his daughter and all that kind of stuff. So like, there's a point where she was like, Hajima like telling her dad like, stop, like don't go and all that. And but she had an attitude. I really liked it, and that's all within episode 1. I mean, just the way.
I was about to say, that's all episode 1.
The way in which it transpired throughout this traditional Korean game celebration that resulted in the ultimate penalty of life. It was a mind fuck, to say the least. Yeah, for sure. That was psychological thriller, really good. But
people keep saying that it reminds them of Saw, and I've never actually seen Saw.
It was definitely Saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was definitely Saw, where it's like people were saying, "Oh, it looks scary." I'm like, no, nothing's gonna pop out at you.
No, it was
like
scary.
Saw, where you're just gonna see some really gory stuff. But my stomach can handle gore. Like I can look at gore all day and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like it's just ketchup at the end of the day. So for me, like I'll be tripping too much on on gore in a way. So I saw it and I was like, it's cool. I guess you kind of see how it ends. So it wrapped up really, really well. Even at the ending, I was like, oh, really? Oh, this, like, it definitely had the ending. I did at the end of it, I laughed, and at the end, I said, this nigga. Like, I just didn't have, known. Like, I should have known. I should have known.
Yeah, it was I should have known.
Some of your favorite moments from the show.
Man, spoiler alerts, people. Hopefully, we don't spoil it if you haven't watched it yet. Man.
Sang-woo, my nigga, though, bro. Sang-woo, my dog. Sang-woo, my dog.
I really like Tug of War really got me for a while because I thought
the violence.
Yeah, I thought they was dead for that on that one. That one was wild. The marbles one was also wild to me.
Which one?
The marbles one.
Oh yes. Oh, the marbles one was too much.
That one was crazy.
Yeah, they figured. Oh my gosh, that one was and like, okay, but you know who I want? I want justice for Sabiel. Like Sabielka was like, that was my girl.
I loved
Like
her.
Jesus, man. Like it was the
She was
women
so
that
dope.
made the show
Yeah.
everything. Like
I liked her partner too.
yes. Her
I
partner
liked
was such a badass, man.
Yeah.
It was just
They were
real.
so
Like
cool. Yeah.
and it's wild because like considering like how Koreans like say their names, right? Like their surnames are always in front of their like first name in a sense, right? And her partner did not have a surname. Was like, nah, I ain't got that shit. I ain't got no surname. I was like, so badass, like lone wolf. Like it was just like, oh my god, bro. Like it was,
man.
yeah, like just like, but the actress killed it, man. And I loved also like kind of what it poses, like the themes, right? Like, is capitalism healthy? Like, community, and what does community mean to really help your fellow man? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is real debt and what is real owed debt? You know what I'm saying? Is are certain debts realistic? Like, it's just
imagine having to do a Squid Game for your student loan. Dear God.
Red light, green light.
I was thinking about the black Squid Game. What'd you call it?
The crawfish games. They moving the crawfish games. Thinking like that's.
We would throw some what would be in there? Some spades.
Oh, but some dominoes. A good healthy game, a very violent game of Uno.
Oh,
and house rules only. So I will make those rules very known when y'all step foot into my house. Don't worry,
bro. Okay, so how you play? How you play though? You stack?
Wilds are everything, baby. Like,
okay, but do you stack?
Yes, you can stack. Why? I don't understand.
Hold on.
I don't understand.
I got in an argument with people about this a month ago.
Yes, you can stack.
They were not letting me stack, and it really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Wait, you couldn't? Wait, do you like you can only stack 2 at a time or any amount?
That's hard. I most oftentimes play speed Uno. So I play a certain type of Uno that yes, you can stack. You can stack multiple.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's within a turn. And so the way in which my game of speed Uno works, there's only going to be so much that you can stack, but you can stack. Like I've seen people get plus 16 and like we just like,
yeah, that's it.
That's Pick it. Them up. Sorry. Pick them up. Pick them up. Look, that is my favorite threat at a black. Pick them up. I've seen a plus 20 before. Like, pick them up.
Oh man, it's so violent. Uno can turn into a very
Uno
game.
Can like no, but it is like I think that's where I was triggered by it. Like I think seeing a lot of Squid Game, it took me back to like or playing dominoes with my dad in Cuba and us waking up the neighborhood. Because like when I won for the first time, you really got like flat and man, and like I felt so accomplished. And of course my dad's like, well nigga, I gave you one. Yeah, so I'm just like
bro, that sounds like my dad in spades, man.
But no, spades gets crazy.
You know what's crazy? I don't know if I should say this, but I've never actually
obviously the crate challenge is gonna be in the Black Squid Games.
We all gonna die on that. We all gonna die on the crate challenge.
Obviously
all gonna die. Bro, but I was gonna say real fast, I've never played dominoes. Man. I thought I had before, but I don't think I've ever actually played dominoes.
Dominoes is quite the special game. I can't lie. I
need to try it out.
Yeah, man, it's great. You know what? Well, when we record together, we'll play a game of dominoes.
Yeah,
to enjoy.
Kick things off.
Kick things off. Well, like all the people gonna hear before we record is just gonna be. All right, let's start the show. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be getting my black uncle on. Like let's even say thank you, Sarah. She said Sarah, even I play dominoes.
Talking about even I play dominoes.
Yes, damn right. Okay, dominoes. That's but but like she from Virginia, bro. Like that is like if you're from the South, like it's different.
You know that. You grew up on that.
Yeah, it's not. It's so past like a black thing.
Yeah, you got to give me a pass,
like,
Sarah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look, we got to move on, people. Make sure that you are following us everywhere, quite frankly, Adam Villa Gems podcast. I want to give a shout out to the Wine and Weed podcast because they posed a very, very, very fun question 4 days ago over the weekend. And pretty much a meme that says one's gotta go in a ranking of some of Hollywood's biggest actors. Amongst those on this list Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx, Seth Rogen, Jim Carrey, and Kevin Hart.
Man, one gotta go. And all of their movies.
And one's got to go in all of their movies. Once again, Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, Seth Rogen, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, Kevin Hart. One's got to go in all of their movies. This is so tough. The funny thing is I'm looking at the comments and I'm just glad that my answer is I'm just glad that my answer is like validated because the whole comment is saying one person.
They're saying the same person.
And I 100% agree.
Oh, I hate to say it too, but yeah.
I didn't think that you would agree with me. I really didn't.
Trust me, I don't want to.
I didn't think that you would agree one bit. Actually, bro, I really thought we need to edit this, bro. I need you to play opposite. This is
okay. Well, I will tell you.
No. I'm just kidding.
You know what's crazy? I might
thank
disagree.
You for having
with you.
sense. No, thank you for having sense, bro. Because it's like I'm sorry. No, bro, don't disagree with me now. Because now it's like I'm on a roll. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you have sense. Because I thought I was going to have to fight you here and say name a look. And I'm not saying Kevin Hart, guys. We are collectively saying that Kevin gotta go, and it's very easy. Okay, look,
I don't think it's very only because I haven't watched a bunch of Seth Rogen stuff, but the stuff that I watch, he's so hilarious.
And I know
hilarious. He's so big, and he's been in so many movies.
Oh my God,
that would be the only guy that I would argue. So it would be between those two. But
and I actually figured you would. And again, this isn't. And I thought the whole point I was going to make is like this doesn't take away from Kevin's career. It's just to say like. As far as groundbreak, like my literally the one I'm gonna say is Soul Plane. As far as like a cultural zeitgeist movie that I think is like, and I'm like, yeah, that was Kevin Hart at lead, right? But I'm like, I don't reference like Think Like a Man when I think about Kevin Hart. Like,
really?
Like, yo, like I can't.
I love some of his movies. Like Right Along was really good.
I didn't see it.
You didn't like the Jumanjis?
Didn't see it.
Oh my word.
Didn't see it. Like, and again, I've seen bits and pieces. I don't think seeing them would make me change my answer from an unequivocal Kevin with 1,000 perhaps. Like, I'm sorry. What do any of those movies have against a Superbad, against a 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah, those are just tough to compete with.
Like, it's just like, yeah, Seth Rogen has, like, oh man,
yeah, Seth Rogen, he's been
like Seth Rogen has so much, and of course, like there's no touching Eddie Murphy. Like I told somebody,
absolutely not. There were some of those guys that I looked at, I knew weren't leaving.
Yeah, like weren't leaving. I'm like, and really, I thought for sure, if it wasn't Seth that you're going to be after, I thought for sure it was going to be Adam Sandler, and I was going to say there is.
Oh no. Oh please,
there is no response that Kevin, Seth, damn near anyone on this list could have to Waterboy.
Oh yeah, no. Absolutely
Waterboy is one of the most.
It's a classic.
It's one of the greatest films, like of all time. So
I love Waterboy.
Yeah, man. And then I'm like, then you see Jim Carrey on this list, and I'm just like, Jesus, like.
And Jim Carrey is also a person that I haven't seen a ton of his movies, but the old movies that I have seen of him is so funny. It's like
just iconic, dude.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura,
Bruce Almighty.
Mask, Bruce Almighty. Like, I mean, and then there's
what's the movie where he's lying? Where he has to lie.
Yes Man.
Is that it? It might be. Yeah, it might be Yes Man.
Liar.
Oh, it's called Liar.
Liar. I'm sorry.
There it is.
Yes.
Liar.
100%. Yeah, man. No, yeah, he's like, GOAT, man. Seth Rogen, GOAT. I just can't say. Yeah, Kevin just doesn't have a catalog of movies that.
One. Speaking of our producer, one that didn't really know. She didn't know this guy's catalog as well as Jamie Foxx. That was somebody else that I said was not.
People had the nerve to type Eric Bishop, Jamie Foxx, the Jamie Foxx,
the Jamie,
the Jamie Foxx. I need everyone to step down. She said, "What movie had to be?" I think the real mutiny here, the real attack here, the real violence was over the weekend when that was told. I was personally offended. I chose the offense. You know what I'm saying?
I chose the offense.
Let me take emotional accountability here because offense can be chosen. Yes, I chose to be offended because you just to a what? Like Jamie just, and we were even okay. Look, because the better question, right? I was saying who's the better actor, Will or Jamie? And I told you when someone's like, no, Jamie could play the fuck out of Will in Will's own movie about Will's life, and I said yes.
But that doesn't do it for me. Will is a absolute legend.
That's fine that you're gonna say alleged.
Absolute.
Okay,
He's still. I think Will's a better actor than Jamie Foxx, and there's no knock on Jamie.
Give me the movies that you consider make Will an actor.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay.
7 Pounds.
Yeah.
I Am Legend. I Am Legend, one of my favorite movies. How do you do a whole movie by yourself?
I know. No, I actually watched it recently. I watched it recently. I put I Am Legend on. I was
just about to say a part. That part when he's like, "You're not supposed to be here."
Oh my God! What do we need? Not Kevin.
Sonny. I think it's
no.
That's
Al. Wasn't it Al? Yeah. What are you doing? Oh my God! No, I like 100%.
I Robot. Like I
Robot. Look, and I watched both endings of I Am Legend because there's two.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Oh my God, bro, I love I Am Legend. I do.
I love that movie. Those are just a few off the top of my head, and I know I'm missing a bunch.
Yeah. So, and I hear you, and I 100% hear you.
And I don't even. Sorry to cut you off. And it's not a knock on Jamie Foxx, but I don't even know if he can compete with those that I just named.
Damn. I think I would just.
You think
disagree.
He can? That catalog that we just named is,
God.
And we didn't even throw out Bad Boys.
Like,
throw that out.
But I said stretched him as an actor. Like, yes, I'm not debating iconic movies, right? But I'm saying, like, cool, we know that he can do the blockbuster hits. Like, we know that. You know what I'm saying? We know Will can play leading man, Men in Black, and do the, swashbuckling hero role. We know that, right?
Well, did you see Concussion? I think he was really that guy. If you ever seen Concussion, and have you seen the real doctor behind it?
Hail.
I know you probably never seen that.
Hail.
Hitch.
Hail. No, I'm sorry. That man.
I gotta know my audience.
That man sounded nothing like that African man.
Are you serious?
The
African man came out in an interview and said that he thought that he played him so well that he thought that was him.
Hell.
You're not giving my dude Will no credit.
No.
I'm fighting for you, Will. I'm fighting for you.
But I'm looking at a Jamie, man. Like, and Jamie really has given us just incomparable performances. Like, just incomparable performances.
Incomparable.
I really think so. I personally
he has,
really
but when you compare it to Will Smith, they're not. And it's not the same.
Well, look, we're talking wine and weed. Okay, one's got to go, and it's got to be Kevin. Okay, I thought I was going to be fighting you on that. We're not. We're going to take a break. More Unveil the Gems when we come back.
Do you like incredible musical performances and engaging conversations? Well, we've got both of those things for you right here at Mental Notes Live, the talk show focused on giving you tools to grow your faith, mindset, and progress. Hosted by yours truly, Ryan Hale. Be sure to follow us everywhere on any social media platform at Mental Notes Live, and go catch up on all of our previous episodes by visiting mentalnoteslive.com.
Family and friends, Unveil the Gems podcast. That's where we're at. And you know what time it is?
No filter.
Yes, that is right.
My favorite segment of the day, baby.
Thanks for the jingle, nigga. Like,
yeah, they asked for the vocals, bro.
Like, yo, you said you weren't sick this week.
What they need.
Gotta give the people what they need, right? Oh boy,
man.
Yes. Well, apparently you have something on your heart. I
do
love every single podcast, as you know.
Yeah.
But you seem to just have a place of contention with one of my most coveted, one of my favorite establishments.
Yeah. I just need to get this off my chest, and I want to be very, very clear when I say.
What is that? What is it that you want to go?
We need to officially abolish Waffle House, and I know this becomes
the hill you're dying
to some people.
Okay. All right.
But Waffle House is absolute garbage. And if you're not vaccinated yet and you attend that establishment, go to your nearest doctor, pick up a vaccination because you need it. That place is terrible. I've seen some memes and videos over the weekend. Shout out to our producer, Sarah, for sending these over. I saw one of a cook in the Waffle House kitchen with a baby on her hip. Now, what kind of sense does that make, Malcolm? Child labor laws. That's what that is. They got the baby.
I don't know if it's child labor laws more than it's the fact that woman and that child are working to.
You can't even say it with a straight face because that's how foolish that is. Got the baby in the kitchen.
That baby is willing to work so damn hard. And that woman, that baby's mother, is willing to work so hard. And I think that's indicative of
Oh,
how
God.
amazing the establishment of Waffle House is.
No, that is an
Is
unsafe
that it
environment.
has its workers, its workers and its employees are willing to go at such lengths. We've seen so many stories come out in recent months about the Waffle House
and how terrible
regarding altercations that the patrons take out on the workers there, right? And the workers have no choice but to pull knives and to pull guns on them. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And it's the fact that Waffle House employees shouldn't have to, but are strapped. Waffle House employees stay ready so they have to get ready. Unlike, I don't know, the Cheesecake Factory, PF Chang's, even Ruth Chris Steakhouse. I quite frankly don't feel that safe in establishments like that.
Oh, you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe at Ruth Chris?
Because what happens if someone comes up there with a gun?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? At least I know that my one server with a huge attitude at the Waffle House is there, ready for defense and ready to fight for me.
Not only do I not feel safe, I totally disagree with you. Not only do I not feel safe at a Waffle House, the food is trash.
The food is great.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Look,
the food
Sarah,
is not good.
Like Sarah, please. Like,
and
please
Sarah can hop in here, Sarah.
Dude, is the
not
food?
lie.
The food is
great.
not good. It might be the establishment. It might be that you're getting served waffles outside of a gas station bathroom, but it's fine.
It's dirty.
It's
disgusting.
It's culture.
Oh, God,
it's seasoning.
No. That is not our culture. We are better than that. White people specifically, we are better than that. We deserve better than this.
Why? So you're talking about the white people and the Mexican people and the Asian people that work there and the indigenous people that work at Waffle House?
Okay,
because
fine.
plenty of people work there.
Everybody
at the establishment.
Everybody, we deserve better. As Malcolm wants to make this. Everybody, we deserve better. We could do better than this.
So what you're trying to say? What are you trying to say? That all waffle joints matter? Is that what you're going?
No, I'm just saying Waffle House isn't good, and we need to abolish it. The establishment as a whole.
See, I don't like
too much money to this.
No, see, you're using my aggressive language here. Okay,
your radical language. Abolish. Yeah,
you're using my radical language.
You wanted to abolish silk signing. You're going after the wrong group.
Because they over here playing with my heart with this album. They playing with my heart. They know
Sarah, please feel free to chime in. And I
just hope Sarah, just please tell me, does it not taste good? That's all I'm saying. Waffle House does in fact taste delicious.
Oh God, it does not.
We've had previous discussions, right, Malcolm? And I was on your side. Okay, until recently. Recently, the other day.
Don't tell me this.
My hash browns were floating in grease. Like I could not.
But are you surprised? Were you surprised, Sarah? Were you surprised?
But that's one meal. That's one meal. That's only one meal that you've had compared to the many that have been so delicious.
Okay.
So delicious.
Okay. So then the chef is arguing with the other chef, and she pulls a knife on the dude as they're working together. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be here right now. Should we leave? My child's with me. I'm not sure.
But like again, they stay ready so they never have to get ready. Like how impeccable, how much initiative
to each other though
you have to have. Well, look, sometimes if the food's not coming out proper, something needs to be said to a coworker, and you have to meet people
I don't think Kendrick was referring to Waffle House when he said dead body in the hallway. That's not what he was talking about. and there's a lot of dead bodies in the hallways of the Waffle House.
I'm gonna end this entire recording right now if you're gonna speak with such flagrant silliness. You leave Kendrick out of this argument.
The chefs up here pulling knives on each other.
Kendrick loves a Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick loves a Waffle House.
Kendrick, I pray to God.
Your favorite rappers love a Waffle House. No. I know this. So, Hale, when you're ready to come to the light,
tell me what do I get at Waffle House? Let's just say I wanted to try it one more time.
You do an all-star, of course. And you know what? Here, I do mine with a little bit of extra. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm not surprised.
It's look, but it sets it off proper, right? So when you're there, I like to do the all-star egg scrambled, right? Grits, buttered, and actually not savory. I'm sorry to the community. I like sweet grits. It's just what it is, right? And then if the sweets is not enough, I like a little, like half my waffle chocolate chip, the other half not. And when you ask them just to do a few more things, they just pay a little bit more attention.
No, they don't. I've asked them to do a few more things.
You know what I'm saying? I get some jelly on that bread. And I don't eat it as much because I try not to eat pork as much. Probably the only thing, they don't have a lot of, non-pork options. for the pork items they have on their menu. But I still love it. I'm gonna go hard for the Waffle House. You're speaking with anti-black sentiment when
I'm not even surprised now that you like Waffle House because you like sweet grits. So I'm not surprised anymore.
Is that where you're trying to end things, right?
Well,
is that?
I mean, it just says a lot.
It just
it just says a lot to me. So I mean,
tell me you can't appreciate a sweet grit. You can appreciate a sweet.
I can, but they're not better than savory grits. I mean,
it just depends.
Salt,
like
salt over,
I really
salt
can,
over sugar.
I'm bi when it comes to my grits. But I do prefer sweet grits on both mornings. That's just me.
Wow.
But that's because I like a lot of oatmeal and I like cream of wheat and I like a lot of those like morning where you just put butter and sugar in a lot of your cereals. So it's like grits to me are just like no different most times in making them. However, when people make like savory grits, I'm like, hell yeah. Like I especially like a cheese. Okay, the superior grit is a cheese grit.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so like again, we can agree there. And that's where we're gonna end this podcast on.
Well, I wanna ask the people too. Please shoot us a DM. Let us know in our comments. Unfiltered Gems Podcast everywhere on social. Should we abolish Waffle House?
Is Waffle House good for the blacks or bad for the blacks? We want to know your thoughts on the next podcast.
Oh, stupid, man.
Man, no, thank you guys, everybody, so much for listening, man. Wild, very insightful episode. We talked about a lot. Very, very dense one. So thank you guys. My name is Malcolm Alexander.
And I am Ryan Hale. As usual, it's been a pleasure doing this episode for you guys. As always, be sure to follow us on any social media platform at Unfiltered Gems Podcast.
Yes, please leave a review, rate us on Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you can show love. It's greatly appreciated. And I'm going to do another shout out to the YouTube page. Absolutely. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, comment, share, hit the bell for notifications. What did our boy Woody say? Noti gang is what they're calling it. So we appreciate that love, guys, for real. Subscribe wherever you're listening, or even as I said with YouTube, wherever you're watching. It's Unfiltered Gems. Thanks so much.
Peace.